we got to get to work here. There's some good stuff. There's so much good stuff in this second half here. Has anybody gotten anything out of this yet today? Okay, so again, we're finishing with the random thoughts that you're going to like and the challenge. It's going to be really good. First off, we got to get into movement, because while diet is incredibly important, the foods that you eat, getting rid of the inflammatory oils, increasing your fats, get rid of the bad carbs, blah, 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 all that great stuff, ketosis, use it, get fat adapted, fix your metabolism. You want to be building more muscle. So building muscle is the idea. If we can switch our thinking from, I'm going to work out to burn calories, because a calorie burning workout, you're tracking what? Calories out, right? And you're saying, I'm going to get on this elliptical for like an hour and a half, and I'm going to read a magazine while I do it. Nobody reads magazines. I'm going to look at my phone while I do it, right? I'm going to talk to my friend right here while I'm doing it. It's going to be very low intensity, and I'm going to just burn a bunch of calories and track, and then I'm going to eat less calories than that, and that's how I'm going to lose weight. We've got to get that out of our thinking and start thinking in terms of hormones and metabolism. And it's about conditioning your metabolism with your workout. Just like we're conditioning our metabolism with our foods, with our intake of foods, you can condition your metabolism very powerfully with your workouts. If you thought that the first half, talking about foods, was powerful in changing your metabolic function, this takes it to a whole nother level if you do it right, if you know what you're doing. So this is going to be crucial for increasing your BMR, which is your what? Basal metabolic rate, which is your what? Your idle burn. This is what you're burning on a daily, regular basis, doing your normal stuff, even while you're sleeping, while you're sitting, while you're driving, while you're thinking, while you're at work. You're burning that many calories for fat loss. High intensity workouts is going to help you burn more fat. More fat is going to be burned from high intensity workouts and from muscle building focus than the low intensity cardio type workouts. Am I saying if you're a runner and you love running, should you stop running? No, why? Because you love running. So is it good for you? Yeah, because you love it and it's good for you and it's movement and it is good for you. You're just not going to burn as much fat and create as much of a metabolic effect from a long jog as you are a high intensity exercise that involves resistance and muscle building. That's all. So it's just that the high intensity short duration is going to produce more of a metabolic conditioning and a fat burning effect. Here's what's interesting. And metabolic conditioning, also known as HIIT, high intensity interval training, HIIT, also known as surge training, it's the same exact thing. These are the same. So if you hear those, it's like, oh, I don't know which one to do. They're the same. And what's happening here is during a traditional cardio workout, do I have a pointer? During a traditional cardio workout, you have this little mound here. That's the amount of calories you're burning or how high your metabolic rate goes. It's really only going up during the time that you are working out. So that's your low intensity. Heart rate is not at 90%. It's a lot lower than that. If you get to that high heart rate with resistance training, with a metabolic or HIIT workout, you're having these huge spikes in metabolic rate and huge spikes in calorie burning. And then afterwards, because you went through a tornado of activity and cranked up your metabolism so high, it lingers and you have this nice afterburn effect for upwards of 30 hours where you're burning fat, you're burning calories for another 30 hours after the workout. So 30 hours later includes time that you are doing what? Sleeping. So talk about increasing your BMR during sleep. If you did high intensity exercise, even the morning before, that next night, you're going to be burning more calories while you sleep because you've worked to condition your metabolism. Metabolic conditioning, Metcon, HIIT, surge training, all of it's the same. It's to produce this afterburn effect and start to create a ticking up effect of your BMR. The people that have the highest BMR that I know are not joggers. They are weightlifters and surge training type of exercisers. Nothing against jogging. It's great for you. It's still a good thing, especially if you like it. It can be good for your mentality, good for your body, good for especially if you're the type that just really likes jogging and your body really likes it, you do well with it. Some people hate jogging though. If you hate it, don't do it. Just don't do it. You don't have to jog. This is a good way to burn calories, burn fat. Here's some research from the journal Science with diabetes. Short-term sprint intervals increased insulin sensitivity. So your insulin sensitivity, right? How well your insulin is allowing energy to get into the cell. Increased aerobic enzyme capacities, mitochondrial biogenesis. That's getting really boring. Let me just stick with the top. Short-term sprint training increases insulin sensitivity. Okay. And then your basal metabolic rate, like I said. So when we talk about this like unfair advantage, like, oh, so-and-so, she has an unfair advantage because she has a fast metabolism. Yup. And she has either trained her body into it being that way, and maybe there's a genetic component there. However, you can get that unfair advantage too. That is about increasing your BMR. Where your body is then constantly burning calories. Okay, does anybody want to get their body into a higher BMR? Who wants to increase their BMR? Raise your hand. Okay, so everybody stand up. And we are going to increase our BMR. And we're going to do it right now. And we're going to do this for 30 seconds. How many seconds? 30. How many hours is that? Like not a lot. So 30 seconds of exercise. If you have heart condition, if this is going to put you on the ground, if this is something that your knees can't handle, do something different. We're going to do squats, okay? So we're going to do up and down squats for 30 seconds. That's it. And the idea is you want to just squat down like this and come back up. We're not going to get into technique. We're not going to have the coachman trainers come up and show us exactly how it's done. That's okay. That's not for today. We're just going to do squats. If you can't do squats, you got bad knees, squats are going to make you pass out or something like that, you do punches like this with your hands. And you do punches this way. Don't punch the person in front of you in the back of the head. Then we'll have other issues, and we didn't sign waivers. All right? So we're going to get the music going here. All right, here we go. 30 seconds starts right now. That's right. All right. Halfway there. Get 10 more seconds. You can do anything for 10 seconds. All right, 12 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, stop. All right, give your partner a high five. Catch your breath. Have a seat. All right, how long did that take? But I don't have time to exercise, right? I don't have time to exercise. You can't really look yourself in the mirror and say you don't have time to exercise when a 1 minute, 30-second workout actually will boost your metabolism and create an increase in your metabolic rate and do a lot for your body. It does not take that long to exercise. We're gonna get into stress. So the bottom line with stress, when you are stressed, when your body is going through stress, you can't function properly. Stress is a hindrance or an interference to your body's normal functioning. You have two sides to your nervous system, okay? There's the sympathetic side, which is your fight or flight state. That's your stressed out state. You have your parasympathetic side. That is your resting, digesting. You have your hormones are working well. You're calm, you're in a relaxed state, and your body can work well in that state of being. The 3 T's are the 3 different ways that you can get stressed. Traumas, thoughts, and toxins. Everybody say that. Now, traumas, that's your physical stress. Okay, so physical stress. You have injuries, you have stress on your body, you have the micro traumas from sitting at work all day or doing certain types of work that are just tough on your body. That's your physical trauma. Postural issues, spinal subluxation, that fits right within that. Your thoughts is your mental and emotional stress. Mental and emotional stress, can that cause physiological change in your body? You guys have all felt it, you guys have all experienced it. You have a relationship issue, what happens to your body? You're grieving a death in the family, what then happens in your body over the next few months? Things get crazy, right? You have stress at work, high pressure situation, you're wondering if you're gonna lose your job or not, finances are tough. You're battling some just depression or anxiety. What happens then in your body? It interferes with normal functioning. And then chemical is toxins. So toxins being chemical stress, toxins in the environment, toxins in our foods. These can cause stress on the body and it interferes and hinders. Here's the thing, your body doesn't know the difference between the 3 T's. It doesn't really know. It just perceives it as stress and things shut down. When I say things, what does that mean? Your brain and your body and the communication to your brain and body can shut down. And when your body's under too much stress for too long, if you have chronic stress, because short-term stress, is that a good thing? Yeah, it really can be. Because a short-term stressor actually makes you stronger. And a short-term stressor puts you in the right state to be able to handle the situation that's at hand. So like, I don't know, I had stress this morning coming here because it was like, there was stress involved. I'm gonna speak in front of all these people. I've gotta get myself ramped up, get ready for the game and all that. That's different than a normal morning. But that was a good stress because it got me focused. I got more in tune with what we need to do today. And it helped me. If a bear is chasing you in the woods, are you stressed? And what's happening in your body? Stress hormones are clicking on big time. They're sending all the blood and glucose and energy to where? To your digestive system? No, to your muscles. So you can get away from the bear or fight back if you need to. Your eyes become very, very acute. You have forward vision in your eyes, and the pupils actually dilate, so you can just see things really clearly right here. Your peripheral vision kind of goes away. It's all right here. Your hands get sweaty. Why is that? So you can grip things to fight. It's a survival mechanism. Your heart rate, does it go up or down? It has to go up in order to send more blood and oxygen and nutrients to your muscles so you can fight back on the bear or get away and run. All of these physiological things are happening, but like I said, what's happening to your digestion? Shuts down. It doesn't really move well. It's not prioritized for energy. What happens to your liver for detoxification? We don't need that right now. Let's just set that aside. We'll come back to that later. What happens to your blood pressure? Does it go up or down? Goes up because in the moment you need higher blood pressure to push that blood out into your muscles and make sure that it's up into your brain so you can focus, right? But these visceral things, what about weight loss? In that moment, are you focused on, is your body prioritizing weight loss and metabolism? No. So what if you're in a chronic stress state? Because so many of us nowadays are chronically being chased by a bear. And whatever that bear is in your life, you are responding to it, or your body's reacting to it by shutting down all of these visceral functions. And some of you have those sympathetic or fight or flight symptoms all the time. If you get sweaty hands, that's a sympathetic sign. If you get poor digestion, a lot of times that's a sympathetic sign. If you have high heart rate that just can't seem to slow down, if you go to bed at night and you're thinking about worrisome thoughts and you're just not able to like wind it down and ratchet things down, that's sympathetic overdrive. That's fight or flight. That's being stuck in a chronic stress state where the bear is still chasing you and your body's responding to the bear that's not even there anymore. It's stuck. And when you get stuck in that nervous system dysregulated state, that's when dysfunction starts to build in the body. And if dysfunction is left there too long, it becomes something called dis-ease, right? So there's ease, there's a state of ease in the body, and then there's dis-ease. It puts you into a state of dis-ease when chronic stress is there for too long, which if dis-ease persists, it results in a diagnosis, which is a what? A disease. Then it becomes an actual disease. And so if you can catch this at the dysfunction stage and then get stress off of your nervous system, then you can break the pattern and not enter into dis-ease and disease. Cortisol, hormone that's released. Short-term surges are good. Chronically elevated cortisol is chronic long-term fight or flight. Weight gain is inevitable. This is the hormone that too much of it being put out constantly, you will gain weight and it will just stay on, especially around where? Midsection. That's the cortisol belly fat. That's stress. A lot of times that's associated with liver, but it all links back to stress. This is why when we can help get somebody's nervous system with the stress taken off their nervous system and then they lose weight and they're like, what'd you do to me? What's going on here? I'm losing weight. It's like, look, we're not doing anything to make you lose weight, but getting stress off your nervous system might have been all that you needed in order to finally burn that off with your metabolism finally clicking back on because you're no longer being chased by a bear every single day, all day long. That's the point. That's the point of nervous system regulation. And you think about the last time that you were stressed. I mean, so when you are stressed, when the bear is chasing you, your nervous system actually cannot signal to your brain and to your metabolism to stop eating. So your metabolism literally shuts down when you're stressed. Have you ever been stressed and you're trying to lose weight and so you're exercising a lot and you gain weight? And then you're trying to do the diet thing, but you keep finding yourself like just pounding food every once in a while. It's because your body can't determine when it's full when you're stressed. So that's what happens with this fight or flight state in your nervous system is you can no longer know when it's time to stop eating. So you overeat when you're stressed. This is where people ask, what about calorie counting? Should I count calories? I'm like, I don't love the idea of counting calories. It doesn't match my personality to be always tracking calories that I'm eating. There are easy ways to do it with like apps like MyFitnessPal and things like that. And it's easy and it's great. You plug in, I ate a Chipotle burrito and it tells you how many calories it is and it adds it to your thing. Okay, that's awesome. I just don't want to track it. I don't feel like tracking it. But if you are stressed, I would actually recommend tracking calories because then you'll see that, oh my goodness, I am just annihilating food at every single meal and not stopping until I'm way overstuffed. And you don't notice the snacking and because it's like you're disconnected from what's happening in your metabolism. So this is a time when you're stressed. We talk about like listening to your body a lot, But because of the cortisol and insulin relationship, ignore your body if it's craving refined sugars. Ignore that because it's not actually a good thing. That's called sugar addiction. So something you don't want to ask yourself is, what am I in the mood for tonight? And then you're like, I'm in the mood for Chinese food. No, you're not. You are in the mood to feed your sugar addiction and take in MSG and inflammatory oils because it's like your body's telling you to bring that in because of the addiction that's there. It's like an alcoholic saying, I'm in the mood to drink tonight. It's like, of course you are. But that's not what you're going to do, right? And so it's like if you bring your child to a grocery store, they're going to demand what? The sugary things, because it's everywhere. But you wouldn't just cave and let them eat the sugar every time they asked for it. So this is the same type of thing. We have these things we like to call cravings, but it's really addiction. It's really addiction driven by hormones. And when your metabolism is broken and your hormones are all out of whack, we shouldn't call it sugar cravings. We should call it sugar addiction. And then your addiction to sugar, chemically, hormonal addiction to sugar, physiological addiction to sugar is driving these cravings. And so it's time to not listen to them if it's that type of situation. Man, I'm really craving the Krispy Kreme donut. I'll bet my body needs it. I need it. I just need one. I need one. The red light's on. That means I should probably buy one, right? Isn't that what it is? If it's red light, that means they just made them. So that means they're free? You know what? I'm feeling like I need a Krispy Kreme donut. Like, I don't know why. I'm just in the mood for donuts. Sleep. Sleep's important. Sleep's important for your metabolism. You need it. It's really good for you. Gratitude, mindfulness, meditation, obviously exercise, and breath work. Ready? 10-second breath exercise. You're going to do a double inhale. So you inhale through your nose. This is inhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose, and then fully inflate your lungs with a second inhale, and then we're going to slowly exhale. Ready? I always send you guys home with something goofy like this. So here we go. Ready? Inhale. And a second inhale. And then all the way out through your mouth. It's the double inhale. You're creating a physiological sigh, which takes you out of sympathetic. It takes you out of fight or flight. And then we get yawning. And a yawn means you have stimulated and triggered your vagus nerve, which means your body is entering into safety and calm, and you're coming out of that cortisol bear chasing you state. So there's your breath work. You do that for 2 minutes. Double inhale, slow exhale. Forget counting seconds. If you're not the type that counts the seconds, this is perfect for you. Double inhale. Slow exhale. Do that for 2 minutes and watch how it changes your nervous system. Because it is all about nervous system. It's all about nervous system. Nervous system controls and coordinates every function of the body. So your heart's beating, your lungs are breathing, you're digesting food. We talk about getting you out of that neurological stress state, right? Like that's the point when it comes to really all of this is getting your nervous system healthy. And if you are stressed, it will inhibit your metabolism. If you are stressed, your blood pressure will be high. If there is stress on your system, you won't digest well, you won't have good energy, you're gonna have crappy moods, you're not gonna sleep well. This is why people come in for their adjustments and they're like, my back hurts. We start adjusting them. They're like, does this have anything to do with my sleep? Because now I'm sleeping really hard. Does this have anything to do with my digestion? Because things are moving again. Does this have anything to do with my blood pressure? Because I went to my doctor and they said the blood pressure reduced, but I didn't change anything else. Does it have anything to do with it? Well, yeah, because we're working directly with the nervous system. And so we talk about subluxation. It's like, this isn't just about getting pressure off the nerve so that your pain goes away. But you've heard of a pinched nerve before, right? If that pinched nerve right there goes to your shoulder, what are you going to feel? Pain. But that same nerve controls your heart and lungs and your thyroid from the lower neck. The same nerves in your lower back that go down your legs, they control your digestion. People have sciatica. What else do they have when they come in? They just happen to have digestive issues or erectile dysfunction, or for women, it's menstrual issues, because it's the same nerves that are involved. And so it's about getting pressure off of the nervous system to allow your body to just function like it's supposed to. You know what's really cool is this chart on the right here. You can tell by where the problem is in your spine what areas of the body are being affected. So even when you come in for your adjustments, you look at that top area of the neck. You know how we always take a look at your top area of your neck? And we're always focused on making sure that there's pressure off of the brainstem there. And why is that? Because that's where the highest density of neurology is from your brain to your body. It all has to come right through here. There's this hole at the top of the spine. So this is the base of the skull right here. That the brain sits up here. But at the base of the skull, that's where the brain stem goes through right there. And this is called the foramen magnum, also known as the mouth of God, because it's known as that because the brainstem actually goes through there. So the brainstem is protected by this upper cervical complex up here. So we need to make sure that this is in line and that there's no restrictions or subluxations or misalignments at the top here. So we're doing adjustments very specifically at the top of the neck there. People that have a misaligned atlas, C1 vertebra up at the top here, they'll have headaches, sinus pressure, allergies, mood and sleep issues. It's all the brainstem problems. You even get to balance and coordination, vision, hearing. It's all controlled at the very top. And then you get lower in the neck. These nerves they go to your shoulders and hands. People have numbness, tingling down to the fingertips. That's a late sign of nerve damage. But also those nerves go to the heart and lungs. Breathing problems, arrhythmias, blood pressure problems. Lower back down here goes to your back muscles. People have chronic lower back pain, especially right above that belt line at the bottom of the curve. Also, the nerve issues can cause sciatica or numbness, tingling to the feet. Again, that's a problem that has been there a long, long time. It just shows up at the very end as numbness, tingling. So it's something that needs to be checked out. So you can tell by where that issue is. And again, the point of this, when we get the spine corrected, because if you have a straight spine like this, it's actually constricting the spinal cord. And I want to show you that. So this video here kind of walks you through what happens. In a normal alignment, you have this. Did it just stop? In a normal alignment, the spinal cord is nice and relaxed and yellow. As soon as the spine goes forward, it actually stretches and pulls the spinal cord, and that inhibits the signal from your brain down the spinal cord. And the arthritis shows up in the discs in the front because they're bearing extra weight. This creates pain and a locked up feeling, and it irritates the nerves, which come out to your neck and shoulders. But what is more important than the nerves to your shoulders is that the spinal cord is being stretched. And so with a stretched spinal cord, you have a tensed nervous system. And so one of the first things that we would need to do if somebody has metabolic issues or if they have just general stress on their body is we need to restore this right here and at least get it moving properly so the spinal cord can relax like it's supposed to. And that's why we do testing like this. We have a MyoVision EMG scan. It tests how well the nerves are working side to side. There's no needles involved. This is just a surface test, very simple. But it tells you how well those nerves are working underneath the skin, about an inch deep, right where the nerve comes out into the muscle. So we have somebody like Stacy, and she was in a rough place with her health. She was really, really struggling. So Stacy was in her mid-40s, 4 kids under 10 years old. So stressed or not stressed. So she had been gaining weight slowly ever since her first pregnancy. She said that's when it started. I don't even know what happened, but this is where I'm at right now. She was severely overweight. And when I asked if she was stressed, what do you think she said? She was like, I don't know. I don't even think about that. So was she stressed? Yes, absolutely. And so you've got cheerleader back in high school. She was, just like Brittany. This is not Brittany though. And asked her, she asked, how did this happen? How did my neck get so bad? Because you look at this and she had a reversed curve in her neck. The green line is normal. Hers is bending forward. So that was major stretching on the spinal cord, creating all sorts of problems. She had high blood pressure. She had thyroid issues, migraines, which come from the top of the neck here. And she was dealing with all sorts of sleeping issues and anxiety issues. She was on a bunch of medications. When we first looked at this x-ray, she said, how did that happen? I said, well, did it have anything to do with your cheerleading when you were young? I know that's a long, she's like, that was so long ago. There's no way. I said, I know, but if you fell a long time ago and it started a process where the bone shifted, gravity is constant on that misalignment. So would the misalignment get better or worse over the years? It actually progresses. And so she said, yeah, I fell a few different times on my neck and head. So well, that might have been where it started, but I don't know. I can't tell by looking at the x-ray. And I asked her, I said, what have you been doing for this? She said, I've been taking medications for the pain. I've done PT. I even went to a chiropractor, and he was doing adjustments for me. And I explained to her, I said, well, there's two different types of chiropractors, because she said, but I've never seen an x-ray of my neck, or I've never seen that it could be corrected. I said, there's two different types. There's relief care for pain, and then there's corrective care. And unfortunately, only about 10% of my profession goes back through the extra training that all of our doctors have been through to be able to do corrective care, where we're showing that the cause of the problem is getting corrected over time. So we show her how to correct her spine. We put her on a plan with the corrective adjustments, but then custom home rehab exercises at home for her to do. And after 6 months, this was her. And it's like death in life, because she reduced her high blood pressure was gone. Her thyroid issue actually got better. Her thyroid numbers changed. It's like, what does it have to do with thyroid? Well, where does the thyroid sit? It sits right there. So the nerves that go to her thyroid, all of the nerves in the lower neck are being stretched right now. So as the thyroid gets better nerve supply, it can just start to work normally again. If you have a thyroid, meaning if you have not had a thyroidectomy and it's still in your body, it can work again. Any gland that's still in your body can work again, no matter what they've told you. We've seen it too many times. She lost a bunch of weight. Her migraine headaches went away. The neck pain went away as well. And she ended up getting off of 4 different medications. So she was doing so much better. And you're thinking, okay, well, that's her. What about my issues? What about my spouse's issues? There are warning signs. So the warning signs are interesting, because these are not diagnoses, but people look at these as diagnoses. But headaches are not normal. It's not normal to have headaches. High blood pressure and depression and numbness and tingling. And then you get all the way down to fatigue and metabolism issues. Now you know why spinal misalignment and spinal problems can create metabolic issues. Because the spinal problem is putting stress on your nervous system, and it is that physical, or the traumas part of 3 T's, that's creating metabolic stress. It's putting that bear in the woods chasing you constantly without you even doing anything. It's just what's happening on the inside. And so when we can get pressure off of the spine and off of the nervous system, the body can click on and do what it's supposed to do. If you have any of these issues, you get neck pain and back pain, little misalignments in the pelvis and lower spine. They're not little, because what they'll do is progress and end up creating nerve problems. If you have lower back pain or neck pain that's been there longer than 4 to 6 weeks, that's no longer a muscle issue. That's actually a nerve-related issue at that point, and it needs to be checked. And the way that you check this is really simple. Obviously, you check somebody's posture. You look at someone's posture. If their head is forward like this, just by looking at them, if the ears are not over the shoulders, you know that there's stress on the nervous system. You look at their posture down here. If the hips are not quite right, if they're a little bit off, or if they're just imbalanced, that's going to create nerve problems in the lower back. And so with checking this, it's very simple. If you haven't had your spine checked, give you the opportunity to do that. Again, really, really easy, where you'll get an exam, consultation. We're going to go through all your health issues, all your health goals that you have, digital x-rays, myovision scan to see how well the nerves are working. We'll actually do an exam and do any orthopedic tests that are needed to see exactly where the restrictions are and what it is that you need to do to fix it. And then the digital x-rays are going to show us on the inside what is happening that's causing this. And we typically don't do adjustments on the first day. We need a day to analyze it. But then we'll bring you back ideally as soon as the very next day to see how you respond to one adjustment first before putting together recommendations. And obviously do a report of findings, which we go through it in detail with you so you know exactly what's going on your x-rays and you understand what to do. When I first went to a chiropractor, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't like that experience. I like to be able to explain to my patients exactly what it is that they're dealing with. If you got all that testing done in a hospital, obviously it would be thousands of dollars the way that they have it set up there. Even just for x-rays, it's like $1,000 to get the digital set. We do the whole thing at $115 regular price. We bring it down to just that. If you are making the appointment here, we have a special going on where it is 60% off of that. So it comes down to $47 for all of the testing. So if you're a guest here, you have a card in your folder there, which mine fell down, but it has appointment times on it. So can you pull that card out if you're a guest? I just want to make sure you have it. Oh, thank you. So if you have one of these cards here, and it has actual appointment times on it, and you can set up your time to come in to get checked. Obviously, you have choices. It's like, well, is this something I have to do? No, you don't have to do it. But you have choices. If there's been something that you've been dealing with for a long time, I would absolutely recommend at least getting it checked to find out, is this something that we can help you with? So you fill out your name, you put your contact info. Anyone else that you'd like to set an appointment for, family members, you can do that here. And then you actually are circling your time that you like. And we have these staggered throughout the week of this next week. If you need a special time, you can ask one of our team members. They're going to come around and help you along with that. Okay? People ask, what about insurance? We do take insurance, just depends on your policy. Bring your insurance card in with you. We'll verify it after your exam to see what it covers and what it doesn't cover. I'm going to let you know what to do with that. We do take a deposit for the appointment. Why do we take a deposit for the appointment? Exactly, because we're going to have a room and a time for you, specifically for you. So we want to make sure that this is something that you're in, that you're going to do. So we do take the $47 here, and then it holds your appointment, then it's paid for when you come in. Only thing we ask is if you make an appointment, show up. If you need to change it, or if you're even running 5 minutes late, please let us know, and then we can go from there. I think that's all I have for that, and I wanted to get to a couple more questions here because a bunch more were coming in. Do you have thoughts on kombucha? Yeah, so kombucha has been shown. I used to drink a lot of kombucha. I was really into it because I thought it was like this really great thing. But it actually has been shown to not really give you a whole lot of probiotics. It's not really that great. In fact, it can cause some damage, especially if you get the sugary ones. And most kombuchas, if you look on the back, it says additional sugars, and it's like 7 grams or upwards of 20 grams of additional added sugar into the kombucha, which is fermented tea, basically. So I've recently become not a fan of kombucha, and I would rather just take a probiotic capsule like our probiotic 50B, which is super high potency, than drinking a whole lot of kombucha. They are very expensive as well. Is raw milk like good protein? Is raw milk like good protein? It's not like good protein. It is good protein. Raw milk is good protein. In fact, when we talk about dairy, having the dairy conversation, raw milk is probably your best bet. You're going to say, well, aren't you going to be exposing yourself to bacteria and everything like that? Look, the milk that's raw has the enzymes in it to be able to handle all of that. It has fats and enzymes, and it's living, and we give raw milk to our kids. We have for a long time. No issues from that. People have been drinking raw milk for a long time. You get into some of the milk alternatives, that's when you get into some trouble. I know we've talked about almond milk and coconut milk in the past. Those are okay in small amounts. But if you're drinking almond milk every day and thinking it is a better option than real dairy milk, if you're taking too much of that in, it does have weird ingredients in it. There's carrageenan in it, typically. There's seed oils in it, typically. And also, it's just not a natural thing. I mean, how many almonds do you have to grind up to be able to drink a glass of almond milk? Would you ever sit down and eat that many almonds? And so you just have to think about is this real food, or am I trying to make a fake food look like a real food and taste like a real food? Because if that's the case, then typically there's consequences for taking in too much of it. I'll have a little bit of almond milk, it's no big deal. But it's not something I would choose. I would rather choose whole milk dairy, whole dairy, especially raw. Raw cow's milk or raw goat's milk. Like it or not, you asked me. Best non-running exercise. My back can't handle running. I don't like running either. So I would do weights. And if you want to do something that's more like cardio, low intensity, bike. Bike can be really good for the lower back, actually, with just that little micro motion in the discs, especially at the L5 and L4 vertebra, that can create some really good stuff in your lower back. Are you a fan of intermittent fasting? Already talked about that. Alternative milk, kind of talked about that. Tricky, controversial, but don't have too much of them. There was a popular brand of oat milk. Have you ever heard of oat milk before? So there's this oat milk. If you look at the ingredients of it, which you typically don't if you get it at the coffee shop, you just like, give me a splash of oat milk, and it's just going to be such a good option. But if you look at it, it has something called rapeseed oil, rapeseed, which is an inflammatory oil that is man-made, and that's the first ingredient in this specific oat milk. What chiropractic techniques do you guys use? So we use multiple techniques. It's more of depending on what the patient needs. So we will do manual techniques like maybe you've seen before, if that's going to be best for the patient. We also use something called instrument adjusting. So which techniques? We use a combination of chiropractic biophysics and Clear Institute, which are two spinal correction techniques, if you're familiar with any of that. Then we also do something called neuromechanical instrument adjusting. So you've seen it before, the instruments that you feel like a little tapping, and it's very gentle, very effective. You can correct the spine and get pressure off of the nerves by moving the bones without any twisting or popping, if that's something that you prefer. So it can be done in multiple ways, but we kind of tailor it to your specific needs and even certain preferences, which, by the way, if you keep coming in and saying, I just can't stand when this one adjustment is done because I tense up. If we don't know that, or if we're not picking up on that, please tell us. Please tell us. Because if we can fine tune the way that you get adjusted and you're responding best to that pattern in that way, because everybody's spine is different, everybody's level of arthritis is different, everybody's comfort level with different types of movements is different. So let us know and let's work some different adjustments in, because there's a lot of different options that we can do to help you be more comfortable and have even better movement into your spine. Salt, what were you going to say about salt? Did you just send that just now? All right, so for you, I'll answer this. I'm just kidding. Salt is great because we need it and we lose it. So let's say this is a 30-minute conversation. I'm going to cut it down to 30 seconds. You need salt. Salt actually, salt has minerals. It's the right type of salt. So let me just give you the action step. Himalayan pink salt has good mineral content, and Redmond's real salt. Redmond's is the brand. Real salt, you see it at stores. Excellent. Where that comes from Utah. Himalayan comes from the Himalayas, I think. So it's got a lot of the minerals in it when it's tested. You want to be taking in these minerals. We typically lose more sodium and more salt and minerals throughout the day than we think, especially if we drink coffee, because coffee is a diuretic and it actually takes magnesium and minerals out with your urine when you get rid of it. And so now you're depleting yourself of hydration. You're like, no, hydration is water. False. Hydration, ready? Salt hydrates you better than water. You're thinking, that's a crazy thing to say. I'm going to walk out. Fine, it's the end of the thing. But I got you here for a long time. Salt hydrates you better than water, because what is hydration? Hydration is the amount of water that is staying in your body and being utilized. Without the minerals, your water leaves. You need the minerals to keep your water in. Salt being the best one. So your sodium, potassium channels, you're gonna notice when you start taking in more salt, especially the good salt with minerals, that you're gonna have more blood volume to the brain because it keeps your blood volume high. So you're gonna have more nutrients to your brain. You're gonna feel clearer. You're gonna feel more focused and dialed in. I drank a big thing of salt water right before coming out here. So I kept my hydration in here and blood volume to the brain so that I could focus. And you're like, you don't sound like you're focused. You're bouncing all over the place. Well, I told you it's not a TED Talk. I'm a chiropractor. So that's what you want to do with salt. Highly, highly recommend increasing your salt intake. Is there a conversation about blood pressure and all of that? Sure, let's get to that with the content on the motivation group. I heard there's a type 3 diabetes. Is that linked to diet? Yes. Type 3 diabetes is also known as Alzheimer's. So when you have diabetes, when you have sugar and insulin that is off the charts and you're metabolically broken, you are on the path to a higher risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, the brain-based problems. Alzheimer's is known as type 3 diabetes because it is almost exclusively insulin-resistant based. So, thoughts on vinegar gummies? That sounds weird. I have no thoughts. Finances are tight. What products would be most helpful? Honestly, the protein in the greens, because you're just getting such good nutrients in there, and then the daily multivitamins. So we have the men's and women's daily essentials. Those, if you break down the cost of those, you're actually saving 20% on each bottle of those supplements, which has B complex and magnesium and omegas and multis. It's all of the most essential vitamins and minerals. I am a fan of supplements. Now, I'm not a fan of saying, I'm gonna eat supplements and then get McDonald's on the way home. If you're not gonna change your lifestyle, yes, you can fill some holes with supplements. I get that, and it's actually a good idea if you're not gonna change your lifestyle. But the idea is don't rely on supplements and think that that's gonna make you healthy. You can't out-supplement a bad diet. So you gotta change your diet first. But yes, the men's and women's multi and then protein and greens is what I would shoot for there. We're gonna get into some random thoughts to close it out. How's that sound? You're never too busy to get in shape. It's not that you don't have enough time, it's that your health isn't important enough to you. If your health was important enough to you, if your big why was strong enough, you would find the time. You find the time for anything that is important. It takes 6 to 8 weeks for your body to get used to exercise routine. Be patient. We see people quit all the time after 2 weeks of exercise because their body hurts, they don't like it, they don't have energy, they feel nauseous when they're there. They say, my body just doesn't jive with exercise. Not yet, it doesn't, because you haven't been jiving at the gym for 5 years. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. So take 6 to 8 weeks to allow your body to adapt to exercise. Walking 10,000 steps, massively underrated for fat loss. I absolutely think getting your steps in is a good idea. You're upright, it's good for your posture, it's good for your spine. You're moving your body, you're actually getting you're keeping that daily calorie burn from daily activities. So what's so funny is, it's not funny, it's just a fact. They found that people, when they're just working physical jobs, they burn more calories than doing light exercise. So if you're like working and you're up moving around and you could take phone calls while walking and you can think through things and do like your mind work while you're moving around, the mind energy that you're using is actually burning calories and it's helping you get into a fat loss state as well. So just movement is good. Your brain is designed for movement. Inactivity breeds depression. If you're depressed, go take a 15-minute walk. Oh, but it's cold outside. Okay, then stay depressed. But if you put on a hat and gloves and a jacket and you go walk, you're gonna be like, life's not so bad. because movement actually stimulates your brain. It sends good neurochemicals to your brain. When you're in a state of movement and you're actually sending those neurotransmitters to your brain, it changes your thoughts. So your thoughts change your chemistry. Guess what? They're finding your chemistry changes your thoughts. And that when you take care of your body, when you exercise, especially in the morning, you get up in the morning, you just I do brain exercise in the morning. I don't like to do huge workouts early in the morning. It just doesn't work for me that much, but a 10 or 15 minute, like get on the bike or just walk or do some push-ups and pull-ups. David Goggins has his nickel and dime workout. He says, 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups every minute on the minute. And it's just like a very simple, easy way to just get your body going. It's not for my body. It's not for my fitness. It's for my what? It's for my brain. And what I notice after doing that, I have more positive thoughts. I'm more in a state of gratitude for my family and for our clinic and for our patients. I'm in a better state for relationally with people, and I'm more sensitive to other people's needs, and I have more creativity after I've done 15 minutes of exercise. So that's why I work out in the morning, because inactivity breeds weird stuff in your brain. Here's some more. You don't need an expensive gym membership. But a gym membership is still cheap compared to sickness, disease, and unmet potential. I do believe that. And gyms can be very powerful because you have a community around you, you have instruction, you've got the culture of people who are working out and moving forward. It inspires you, it puts wind in your sails. Women are not going to get too bulky by lifting weights. You're going to digest better and sleep better when you exercise. Getting in shape is simple. Most people just give up too early. I like this one. If you really want to change something in your life, do it daily. Just do it daily. Well, how often should I? Just do it every day. Because if you do something every day, you're not going to need to think about it. So much of our issues is that we have to think about every decision that we make. If it's a non-decision, you're just going to do it. You put it in your routines. If you want something to change in your marriage, do something routine for it. And routines will save your life. So really click into your routines. Tell yourself, my commitments are stronger than my feelings in this moment. Real quick, limit alcohol. Harder to burn fat, slows muscle growth, worsens your mood, decreases chances of working out the next day. You just have to hit that. Just got to hit that before we go. Tracking calories, you don't need to track calories unless you're eating too many calories. And it's like you don't need to track your speed on the road, but if you're getting pulled over by cops every week, maybe you should look at your speedometer. And if you're stressed, track your calories, and you're going to find that you're overeating a lot of times if you're in a stressed state. Think protein forward. The high thermic effect, it helps you burn calories. We've talked about this quite a bit. Steak, wild game, turkey, protein powders. I like the morning workouts for the mental game and metabolism. You're going to have more energy, and this is going to be that keystone habit, more likely to make healthier decisions for your other essentials throughout the day if you start your day like this. Have your go-to meals and snacks. You can find a lot of these in the Align Your Health book. We're going to be posting a lot of recipes and links on the private group. And just to talk about the challenge quick here, if this is something that you know you need to do, you need to fix a broken metabolism, okay? If it's broken, it's been broken for a long time, you know you need to make change, there is no better way that we found for getting somebody to change the direction of their metabolic health than to kick it off with a community-based 30-day challenge. And again, I'm not about living on challenges. I'm not about living on ketosis, but I'm about using those to create habit change and habit formation. So you have choices. You can do this if you want to. If you don't want to, don't do it. It's all about what you want. If you want to change your metabolism, great. If you don't want to, great. That's up to you. This is what the challenge looks like. Advanced plan meals. Okay? And we're going to give you, if you go to the challenge table, we're going to give you more specifics on this, but I'm just going to talk through this briefly. Water, you're going to drink half your body weight in ounces of water per day. Make sure you add salt. Exercise, you're going to do a 45-minute daily workout. How many days? Every day. just going to do it every day. "10 pages of reading per day." Why? Reading lowers your stress. If we're going to change our metabolism, we got to have that checkpoint in the day where we can lower our stress. Now, should you read on your phone, on social media? Is that reading? Honestly, I wish it said this on here, but just read from a book with pages, with paper, because it actually stimulates anti-stress hormones better to read from a book than from a electronic device. They've done studies on this. And you're like, where's the evidence? I don't know. I read it. I don't have it. But I know, personally, forget the studies. You guys know too. When you're turning the pages of a book, aren't you breathing a little bit deeper? Isn't there something a little bit more calming about that? Just kicking it old school with a book? I think it's a big deal. So have an actual book. Oh, they did do a study, and Andrew Huberman from Huberman Labs, he shares research all the time on audiobooks versus reading, and it's a major difference in your mental cognitive creativity and what you're taking in and how your brain is actually stimulated from reading a book versus the audio. You're actually visualizing at higher levels when you're reading from a book. And the pace of it allows you to kind of work through these sentences and these passages instead of it just kind of firing at you, especially if you're throwing it on 2X or something like that. Daily spinal home care. Again, nervous system controls everything. We've got to take care of our spines. You have to take care of your spine. It's with the home care. It's with hitting your adjustments. There's really nothing more important than that, because if that's not there, you will be stuck. And then doing your daily smoothie and supplements. Again, we're going to have more of the specifics laid out for you when you sign up for the challenge. And if you want to sign up for the challenge after today, that's fine too. If you don't have time or whatever, it's all good. You can still join. Just make sure you're on that motivation group, because we're going to be firing stuff off on that group. Here's the upcoming events. You have this right here. This is important. Everyone pull this out. Show me the pink page. You guys have this? Does everybody have this? Did everyone get this? Okay, this is your ticket. If you just check off any of these here, you got the dinner at Uccello's. We have a Meijer shopping tour, which actually isn't up here, but it's on here, where Courtney and Dr. Rachel are going to take you around Meijer and show you specifics on label reading and ingredients and what to watch out for and how to shop on a budget. It's an awesome event. It's limited people. We can't bring 100 people into Meijer. They'll kick us out. They tried to kick us out at 40, and we promised we would spread it out next time. And then we have the MTN class. MTN stands for Metabolism, Toxicity, and Nutrition. How is this different? It's advanced. So this is going to be the advanced class, where we're going to dig into much more specific testing, much more specifics with ingredients, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, tracking. It's going to be more of the advanced nutrition class than what we started here, but it's going to be a piggyback off of this here. And then the lunch and learn, we're getting out there in the community now. This is something that we're just starting to do. Again, we haven't done it in a long time, but we're speaking at workplaces. We're doing this type of workshop at churches and groups. Obviously, it doesn't have to be 3 hours. We can cut this thing down. You're like, you could have cut this down? Yeah, I probably could have. I did cut it down. It was like 5 hours, and I brought it down to this here. So you're welcome. No, but we can do a short version of metabolism or hormones or heart health. I mean, we've got all this different material, and whatever it is that your church or your organization would want, or you think of what they need, we think about how unhealthy are the churches out there right now. I mean, if we could just help the physical, neurological, even mental health of just people in the congregations at churches, how much more we could get done through the churches if we weren't sick and suffering and on medications and dealing with all these health problems and turning only to medicine for them. So we want to give natural solutions, lifestyle solutions, so that the churches can be the healthiest people out there. That's something personal to me. And workplaces, we're going out and doing something called Lunch and Learns, where we bring you food. You become the hero of the workplace, by the way, because you brought free food for everybody. And then we give a short talk, and obviously, we're letting them know who we are, what we're about as well. If anybody has questions or specific condition issues, we're there to talk them through it. If they want to come in and get checked, that's their opportunity to do that. It's a win-win. It's awesome. We love doing that. We do that every single week, but our calendar gets booked up. So if we'd rather speak at your workplaces than random workplaces. Why is that? Because we know you. So we'd rather serve your people than random people. All people are good. We love all people. We just love your people more. Okay, so I think that's all we got. And when we say free dinner at Uccello's, it's not just the food. This is, and I'll close with this, is that we're actually doing that. We're actually on a mission to find people who need our help and help them turn their health around. And if you think about your inner circle, your people that you care about most, if there's someone that you're thinking about just while we're sitting here and you're like, man, I wish so-and-so was here. We're going to do a recap at Uccello's. And what we do is I buy the dinner, and it's a fun night. It's very informal. It's fun. And we talk about health, and we talk about some of these concepts that we talked about tonight. We keep it shorter, 30 to 40 minutes or so. And then and we let them know what it is that we can do to even help them. So it's a very fun, informal event, but we take it seriously because we've met so many people who have changed their lives completely. And even just looking around here, I can remember where some of you were sitting in the dinner that you came to when things really got started for you and your life started to change. So we do take this seriously. We're on a mission to reach people. I don't know a lot of people. I don't have a lot of friends. You guys are my friends. But you guys have friends. So for us to meet your friends, that's how we can spread this mission forward, okay? That's all I got for you. Have a great rest of your day. I want to respect your time, so we're going to end. What you want to do is take this, and you want to put it in the blue box in the back that Courtney and Brittany are holding up. This gets you instantly registered for these events, and we will be talking with you on the private Facebook group real soon. Have a great rest of your day.